Hello, I'm Holly Schindler, an award-winning author, as well as freelance editor, writing coach, writing instructor, and independent author and publisher. This is the beginning of a new series on how to format your book in InDesign. Today, I'm going to get you started by showing you how to set up a file in InDesign and how to import that Word document of yours. Now, obviously, the first thing you're going to need to do is create a new file in InDesign. So as soon as you get InDesign open in your computer, just going to come to the top left corner, click New File. Now, InDesign is going to ask you to pick your trim size, and it's going to ask you to set your margins here. So the first thing we can do, obviously, we can give our document a name here. Just call it Trial Book. And you're going to come down here and, you're going to set this in terms of inches. That's how book trim is measured. Now you want to double check with the service you're using, the print service you're using, whether that's KDP or Ingram Spark, and you need a trim size that is offered by your publisher. And they all have charts on their websites as to which trim sizes they offer. I frequently use a 5x8, so just for the sake of example, we're going to choose a 5x8 here. Now, when you come down to margins, also on those sites, KDP, Ingram Spark, whichever print service you're using, it's going to give you information about how big your inner margin needs to be. And that's really important because the thicker your book is, the bigger that margin needs to be, because the deeper that text will sink into the binding of the book. So the more pages your book is, the bigger that interior margin needs to be. Now, the pro tip here, which I had to learn the hard way, is whatever margin they say is required for your page count. Say you got just for the sake of example, a 300-page book, you need a 1/2 inch margin. Don't just set the margin, that interior margin, for 0.5, because what happens is if you ever have an italic word right there in the margin, it will tilt that letter into the margin just ever so slightly. And, those automated checks, when you upload a book on KDP especially, or Ingram Spark, that site will do an automated check of your manuscript and find out if there's anything wrong with it and any reason it can't be published. So that automated check, if anything is off by a pixel, it will kick that manuscript back at you. So that automated check, just for those italicized words slanting into the margin, it will kick the manuscript back at you and say you have to fix it. So quite simply, all you have to do here is just set the margin for slightly over, if we need 1/2 inch margin, just slightly over. So it's up to you whether you want that top, bottom, side margin to match the inner margin, but be sure you go on that inside margin just a little over what is required, and it is going to save you a lot of work in the future. Okay, I'm going to click Create, and now we have a document. Now, importing a Word file sounds simple enough, but it is where a lot of people get stuck. And they get stuck because InDesign uses text boxes. You're going to see exactly what I mean here in a sec. Okay, so in order to import or place a document, you're actually going to place your Word document in InDesign. So you're going to go up to File. You're going to hit Place. You're going to select your document. I'm just going to use my book on narrative transportation as an example. And it's telling me it includes fonts that aren't here. That's fine. All we want is to use this document as an example. Okay, so here I am. I've got my Word document. My cursor is loaded with this Word document. You can see it here. Okay, so I'm going to come up to the top left corner of the document, and I'm going to click. And there's my document. Sort of. As you can see, this text box on page 1 is full, but that's the only page that it filled. You can come over here to the Pages tab, and you can see I just have one page. Now, this is a 300-page document. I have one page. This plus sign at the bottom, the right bottom corner of this document, is telling me there's more text here. Yeah, I know there's more text. There's 300 pages here. Okay, so if I click this, it loads my cursor again. Okay, I can come over here to my Pages tab. I can add a page. I can repeat. I can come over here to the top left corner and click, and it did it again. Got another plus sign. I can fill my cursor. Add a page. Click. Did it again. And at this point, you're thinking, am I going to do this seriously 300 times? No, you are not. You are not. We're going to undo all this here. Okay, we're going to start over. We're going to come up to File, Place, select our document. Okay, now we've got our cursor loaded again. This time, we're going to hold Shift. I'm holding Shift now. I'm going to click this top left corner again. And magically, my entire document is here. The whole shebang. And you can see over here in the Pages tab over here, you can see all of my pages are here, all 301 pages, all because I simply held Shift when I placed my document. That's going to do it for creating a file in InDesign and importing your manuscript. Got a lot more to come in this series. If you have a specific question about InDesign or, a specific pain point, something that is just giving you fits every single time you try to use InDesign, just drop it into the comments and I will absolutely get to it in a future video. I'll catch you in the next video. In the meantime, go write something.